I don't.
Give it your all. Like, hey guys, welcome back to the Sensible Channel.
No, I don't like
I
it.
always like to do that. Like, it gives a lot of energy.
I will not do it like that.
Hey welcome back to the SensePop channel!
Hey guys, welcome back to the SensePop channel. For this week's deck profile, we will be featuring Mr. Truckerhead himself, Android 13. Well, it's not exactly a good idea to wear a hat with this hair, so that is what I'm not gonna do in this video. So why are we playing with Android 13 right now? It's because the anniversary box actually provided us with two support cards, one to help with the card draw and the other one to bring out, combining with the first one to bring out the Super Android 13, set 3 cards 1 turn quicker. Also combining it with the Agent of Destruction rare that came out with the latest set, you do have something there that is pretty theme and pretty nice to play. Yesterday while playtesting, one of my opponent actually scooped. So without further ado, let's see each other after the short intro, alright? Alright, so let's go. Let's talk about the deck profile. Alright, so we are playing with the Android 13 leader. So anyone who wants to make the deck better, just play with the Android Super 17 leader. The untap 2, the ability to activate main, control your opponent to make them discard to 9, and the inbuilt critical with sparking effect is definitely the better option here. The reason why we are playing with Android 13 is because I just like themed decks. Okay, alright, so this is what the channel is about. It's for casual players, and the focus is on casual play, and we want to play the characters that we like. So Android 13, a character that is not really being played. And if you guys have not seen the Android 13 Dragon Ball movie, right, I would really recommend you to go and watch it. You can watch it for free, the abridged version. Admittedly, I think that's the better version to watch because it's like short, so they only bring in the good parts, and it's super hilarious. So I would just put down a link there. Yes, you can just watch it on YouTube for free by Team 4-Star, so that's something that you can do. Alright, so let's talk about the Android 13 leader. This is an old leader that comes out in set 3, so don't expect something like woo-wah for it, right? Because it's gonna be pretty underpowered by this point of time. But like I said, we are playing it because there is still some advantage to it, and also it's themed. Alright, so Android 13, so what does he do? So if, sorry about the nose here. So if Android 14 and 15 are in your drop area, you could awaken this leader just like that at 6 or less. So you could awaken at 6 life and he gets 15k on 6 life. So this is not Babidi or Android 17 and 18 leader where you need to reach 4 life or something. No, this is 6 life, you awaken him, he is already 15. Yep, so something like a Kid Goku. So when your life is 4 or less, you may draw 2 and flip this card over. So you could either do it at 4 life if you don't have the 2 cards in your drop area, or you could do it at 6 life, take the 2 cards, and then you can draw the 2 cards. Awaken, go 15 early, get your card draws early. Alright, so what does he do on his awakened side? When your opponent's Son Goku or battle cards with energy 4 or less, 6 or less is placed in the drop area, he gains critical. Underpowered. Yes, definitely underpowered because he could get an extra 5k or something to fulfill. If this is made in today's context, I'm pretty sure he gets the extra 5k and critical, but this is an old leader, so they have to balance it some way, so this only gets critical. Yep, Android 17, I think it's Sparkling 5. Sparking 5, you get critical just like that. Alright, so my nose. Sorry about that. Alright, so when this card attacks, you get to draw 1 card. That's all. So the reason why they put it as Son Goku is because they just want to make it like, you know, the theme there where, you know, he's really just attacking Son Goku. That's what the androids are there for. Yep. So let's talk about the deck. The deck itself, it's what I call monocolored. If you are following me on Facebook, you know that I make a point recently saying that, hey Bandai, monocolor, we meant that there's this 2 or 3 overrealm cards. We do not mean that everything is just one color, right? This is to me still monocolor. So let's take a look, right? So the main combo itself is this, that you want to bring out this big guy. And how do you bring out this big guy? You play him, so he is Android 13, the Brilliant, and if you play him, right, so if there is another Android 13 on the board, you cannot bring out this guy, so take note of that. So he should be the first guy on your board. If it's another Android, that's totally fine, but this guy is supposed to be on the board by himself. So when you bring him out, don't play him first, bring him out first. So he is at 3 costs, and you could take a Android 14 and 15 and put it under, then you can bring this guy out. So he's a 3 cost that brings out a 7 cost. I usually do it tap out, go for it at turn 3, because this deck, if you don't do that, you are dead. So that's what I want to do. If I manage to get away with it, then that is totally that's gonna be great. All right, so there is a ruling issue with this, right? So it says here that if an Android 13 put an Android 14 and 15, this is the other anniversary box card, right? It says here, you can't read this, so what he says that this is an Android 14 and 15. So what I've read so far, right, that this card can be put in and it counts as both 14 and 15. So it's just one card and it is good enough to bring out this guy, unless it is ruled otherwise officially by Bandai, or then I would take that ruling. But so far, just for it, I'm just gonna take it, because there is another way to word it, which is choose one and one right? But this card just says choose one Android 13, Android 14 and 15. So you could either put 2 cards, which is a separate 14 and a separate 15, or it is a 14 and 15 like this guy. So with a trade, his trade is like that, is Android 14 and 15. So I would just say this is the ruling that we are gonna go with in this video. Alright, so this is, check the time that this video was being uploaded, so that's that. Alright, so this means that you really want this guy in your drop area, because this guy needs it to be in the drop area to absorb it. So don't overwhelm your cards away before you do bring this big guy out. So what do? They are actually really good, because for 2 costs, forget about the 2 costs, because if this card is in your hands, all you do is activate main, put this card from your hands into the drop area, you get to draw 1 card. That's it. So when you have 3 in your starting hands, like me, for some reason I had 3 in my starting hand, so I was just dropping and draw 3. So it's not activate once per turn, it's all the time, so you could just do it. If you have it, just put it, and then turn 3 bring him out, use this guy, put it under him, Android 13, and bring out the Super Android 13. Let's call him Super Android 13 for now. Alright, so what does Super Android 13 do? He's a really good card, by the way. So what does he do? He is a double striker. When you play this card, you get to pop one of your opponent's battle card. Okay, this is something that we expect from something that big. He's a 30k double striker, and the best part is his second auto. His second auto is this. You cannot see this because this is just how Shenron Lair does. Either the card is very small, or you have like words, or you have cards like that, which is really small. Anyway, so this is what it does, yeah? When this card attacks, when your opponent's battle card is being placed into the drop area by any one of your skill, your opponent discard a card. Which is, just think about this. This is not once per turn. So any of your skill, it doesn't need to be KO if it's just dropped there. So if you make your opponent discard, and your opponent discard a battle card, because it is placed in the drop area by your skill, your opponent discard another 1 card. Yep. Of course, you cannot use his own skill to do it. So he has a claw. So if it's discarded by this particular skill alone, right? So you cannot make him discard again and again by this skill. So this is something that you cannot do. Alright, but if your opponent is discarding because of your other card skill, he has to discard one more card. So far, so good. So this is how the deck is being played. As you can see, so that's why we play 4 copies of this Android 16. Android 16 says that if you combo it, your opponent drop a card. And if your opponent drops a card, and that card is a battle card, your opponent drops a card. So 2 cards. So your opponent would try to discard the non-battle card because so that this skill cannot kick off. That is why I want to bring him out as soon as possible, because he has so much utility going on, right? So it goes like that. Turn 3, play him, use this guy, absorb into him, go to your deck, bring this guy out. So once this guy stays on the board, he KOs one of your opponent's battle card. The opponent's battle card is KO'd. This guy gains critical. Your leader gains critical. And then he has to discard a card because the second auto kicks in and says, because the battle card is being placed by one of your skill, your opponent drops a card. So your opponent already drops one. Swing with your leader, combo with Android 16. If you are at 4 life, your opponent drops the card. So now your opponent drops the battle card, he has to drop another card. So second card draw, if that is the case. This is the perfect scenario, right? So now he has to face a 25 crit, and if he does not discard a card to protect his life, he takes his life, he flip it over and drop it into his drop area. That's how crit does. If it's a battle card, he activates and your opponent drops another card, because your critical, it's still your skill, right? So that's how it is done. Got it? So far so good. So what do I do in 10-4? So, and even if you just, because it is not once per turn, right? So if you KO your opponent's battle card with his own skill, if this skill, your opponent drops a card, he gets crit, then we play 4 copies of Surprise Attack Frieza. What does he do? Whenever your opponent's battle card is KO, you can play this card for free. Taking into account that you do not have this, so you can only have one of them on the board at any one point of time if you want to play it with this skill, alright? So he comes up 15k for free and he's a crit. Swing with him, your opponent either discard a card to protect himself, or he takes a life, and if he flips over that life, it's a battle card, he drops a card also. So how many cards draw do we have? How many cards discard do we have right now? Alright, so take note that this is not once per turn. That means if you have 2 Android 16 and then your opponent discard 2 battle cards, he has to discard additional 2 battle cards, because it's not once per turn. Alright, so some tech around it. We played 3 copies of Preemptive Strike. This is something that I really like. You could take it out if you don't like this, put in some other things, but this is something that I really like, because your opponent plays something 4 or less, it gets past barrier, except deflect, it gets past barrier. So anything that's 4 or less, preemptive it instead of staying on board. Instead of playing on board, it goes in the drop area. And guess what happens when the card goes in the drop area? He discards another card, because he targets a battle card with your skill, and then he has to drop another card. Alright, Shocking Death Ball. When he swings, you negate it using your life. Pop one of your opponent's battle card. There's 2 or less. Your opponent discard another card. And one of the good ones, this guy, it's really good. Let me explain what he does, right? So, sorry about this. He is a 1 cost if your opponent has 2 or more battle cards. So he's a 1 cost. And when you play him, you get to choose your opponent's battle card, and you can add them up to 2 and KO them. So if he has 2 1-drops, like very the skillless Goku, choose 2 of them, KO them, and then what happens here? He drops 2 cards, because 2 cards it's been KO'd by this, then additional 2 cards he has to drop. So it is really mega hand discard. And then when this card comes in, right, this is the Agent of Destruction. So what he does is this: he's a crit, 20k. So for 3 energy, when you play him, he stays on board, 20k. you could swing with him. And then your opponent has to choose to discard card to protect his life, or the discard card has the possibility of losing life and discard cards. So it's a very big option. And then we play 2 copies of Android 20. So what does he do? He does this. He is a 1 cost 5k combo. If the guy who is comboing gets it's an Android, which he is an Android, he gets double strike and an additional 5k. So he is a double striker. Now he becomes a 30k double striker. So you could just pound 1 of 16, 40k double striker. What does he want to do? Double striker crit. Yeah. So now he has to drop 1 card, and if it's a battle card, like I said, he has to discard another one. Now he has double strike crit. So I'm not sure what the ruling is, right? Because this is just one thing. So if he crits 2 life, and that 2 life is they are both battle cards, I'm not sure whether it's, I'm really sorry about my nose, right? So I'm not sure whether is he gonna need to drop 2 cards or 1, because it's 1 skill, but 2 battle cards are down. So whenever battle cards falls, he has to discard 1. Another battle card falls, he has to discard another one. So I would take that as a ruling right now. So guys who knows this, please comment in the comment section, what is it, right? If it's a double strike crit, 2 battle cards are being placed into the drop area with life because of crit. Do they discard 2 cards or do they discard 1, right? More than just that, and if this guy survive on board, you can tap 2 energy, pop his activate main, so you can tap 2 energy, take one of your opponent's battle card, KO it, and if the card is being KO'd this way, he has to drop a card. And because the battle card has been KO'd, drops into the drop area, this guy's ability kicks in, your opponent drops a card. And if your opponent drops the battle card, the guy discard a card using this card, it's a battle card, he has to discard another card. So this is a ruling that I am trying to understand. So any guys who are very familiar with this ruling right there, who's watching this video, please comment in the comment section, let me know how it is, right? 2 things, double strike crit, 2 of the battle cards are being placed, how many do they discard? And this one, if they drop a card, it's using 1 skill, sorry, they KO a card, they drop a card, and if they place that card, because they have to discard due to the skill, if they discard 1 with the card that is a battle card, do they have to discard 1? So total discard 3 and KO 1 of your opponent's battle card. That's very, very disgusting to deal with, right? It's the same with Yamcha, because when you play Yamcha, he is crit, and when you play this card, if you take a life, which helps you to self-awaken, he is a 15k, but your opponents drop a card. So when you play this card, you take a life, your opponents drop a card, swing with him. If it's a battle card, he discard 1, and then you swing with him, it's a crit, your opponent either discard 1 or they have to discard 1 using comboing, or if they have to run the risk, if they flip over, it's a battle card, then they have to discard 1 anyway. So this is the whole deck. And for Towa, play it down, give your leader 5k, which if he has crit, it's a 20k crit monster, and then they have to discard 1, and then you could swing with him, use Towa's to combo, so that it becomes a 25k crit. And then if your opponent discard that card, it's a battle card, he kicks in, he has to discard 1, 25k crit. If he doesn't defend himself, he flips over, it's a battle card, he has to discard another one. So this is really mega discard, right? So let's talk about how let's talk very quickly about starting hands. Okay, so starting hands, I would really advise that you want this card in your starting hand. It kicks in, it helps you to awaken fast, and then helps you to draw the card. So if you have these 2 cards in your starting hand, that's good. What you want also is this guy, because he looks at top 3, pick 1 android. You have a couple of targets. You have him himself. I'm not sure if he's an android. We have to take a look. I'm not sure if he can search himself, but you can search for him. You can search for him. This is an android, your super combo. your double striker, and your this is a target that you want in your deck, so you don't want to search for him. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 targets, including himself, 6 targets for you to get. Alright, so due to my nails, I will not talk any longer, or I don't want to make this video any longer. So guys, some of the questions that I have regarding the rulings when it comes to Android 13, and yeah, like basically Android 13, sorry about the nose again. Please let me know how would you think the ruling would be, alright, with the double strike crit. Yep. Alright, so this is the deck profile. I hope you like it. I really enjoy myself playing it. Guys, if you want to get in touch with me, you can leave a comment in the comment section. This is something I always reply to those comments, and I always reply to your comments. And if you want to send me a private message, follow me on Instagram. The link is on the description of this video, and send me a private message once you follow me on the Instagram. Alright, so I always reply. This is something that I do. If not, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next video. Alright, ciao.